Hey, this is Ross Miller with The Verge, and we are at South by Southwest checking out the Oculus Rift panel that just ended. We are here with Paul Bettner. He is the CEO of Verge and the co-creator of Words with Friends with his brother. Paul, how are you doing?
Good, how you doing?
So we just got done with the panel. You were on it. You're super enthusiastic about it. Can I ask, how did you get involved?
Well, I backed the project. I think, like I said in the panel, I was actually, I think, one of their first elite level backers. And, as I mentioned, I really believed in the dream of it before I even knew that the dream was real.
Obviously, you've been in contact since. You guys meet, you guys did the panel together. What was your first time meeting Palmer like?
It was pretty awesome. I mean, you walk into their offices and it's Palmer and he's got no shoes on and it's a bunch of soldering irons and you realize, wow, this is the real thing, what these guys are doing here. You know, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I was going to just walk into something and it's like, oh, it's all venture capitalists and it's all whatever. No, these guys are the real deal.
So what was it like when you tried it for the first time?
When you take it off, Palmer likes to say, welcome back. And that's the best way to describe it. I mean, you really do, but you lose track of where you are. In just a few minutes after having it on, you forget that you're sitting in an office and that you're there's people standing around you or whatever. You're just completely immersed.
Right. So we talk about short burst games, we talk about longer form exploration games on there. What do you think is the best kind of genres for this? And even the best links of using this?
I think the best genres right now, just because I haven't figured out anything better, are games where you sit in a chair. Because that's what you're actually doing when you wear this thing. So racing games, flying games, Chris Roberts' space game, but also, that's one category. Also, I think there's this whole other category, which is games that put you in a situation that where it's just all about the visceral experience. So like a falling game, or a game where you're flying,
or a game where you fall nonstop.
So I have this crazy idea for a multiplayer game where you take two players in the Rift and you shrink one of them down to the size of an inch, and you have the other one huge, and you have to be able to track hands to make this work. But you have one player pick up the other player. How crazy, you just see this huge hand come down and pick you up and fling you,
flick you off.
Yeah, exactly.
So Jack and the Giant, you just made a great movie tie-in game.
Yes, yes.
All right, so how about this one? Let's say, what about hand-based gestures, maybe a tile-based word game of sorts? Would that work in a virtual space?
No, not really. I mean, it would, but the thing is, you got to realize, to make a game like that work, you first have to build the whole world, then build a table in this great living room, and then you get to make the game and put it on the table with little pieces. So it's you have to do a lot of work just to do a board game, because you can't, it's not like Words with Friends or something where you can just put it right in somebody's face. It doesn't make any sense in VR.
It has to be some kind of action, basically an action forward-moving game for that to work.
It has to be where you're immersed in a world, and you don't really you're not immersed in chess. Maybe if something like Battle Chess, where you're actually one of the characters, but if it's just a board game of chess, that could work, but it's not the right fit for this kind of platform.
All right, last question. What is the first project you guys are going to work on as Verge for the Oculus Rift?
We're not ready to announce that yet.
I have to ask.
That's okay, right? I mentioned on the panel, right now we're just trying to figure out the basic components of a VR game, and like Cliff was saying, it's a new type of language. The things that make for a compelling VR game are completely different than what we've experienced on a TV. Right. So we're just really trying to figure out what those core nuggets are, so that we can then put a game together around them. But I mean, it's like I said, figuring out that falling is a really compelling thing. So maybe we make a game around that, those are those things. We're just figuring out those first little steps.
Great. Well, Paul, thank you so much.
Thank you.